Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting edition of Two Men in Black and White, an honest conversation. And who knew? Well, I guess if you followed the Diddy trial, you knew that Maureen Comey is a name that you might be familiar with from back in the day. Because I'm old enough to remember when her dad ran one of the top investigative agencies in the world. That's right. Her dad, James Comey. Right? Well, now Mrs. Comey is getting her resume together. She is no longer employed because I was this many days old when Donald Trump found out that she still worked for the Justice Department and she prosecuted Diddy. And her father is the person Donald Trump now claims made up the Epstein files. And we, folks, are supposed to believe it. Ooh, MAGA sure is dumb. Let's bring in Brock Ganeles now, my partner in crime, who sits high atop the Hudson Valley, just north of New York City, with a bird's eye view on what's happening in the Big Apple and other points south. Brock, this is just madness. Absolute ridiculousness, and I don't understand how anyone falls for this banana in the tailpipe. I mean, the stories keep changing, but the fact of the matter is the file is not going away. Epstein is not going away. Everybody is talking about this, from Don Lemon to Charlie Kirk to Steve Bannon to every on-air show. I mean, everybody's talking. It ain't going away. Because Donald Trump is now appearing to be the biggest hypocrite ever, and he's letting the base down.
Okay, so number one, I was surprised when I saw that James Comey's daughter was employed by the DOJ. I mean, I didn't know that she had that job for the last decade or so, and I didn't follow the Diddy trial, so I didn't know that she was a part of the team that was on the Diddy trial. So when I heard she got fired, I was surprised that she hadn't been fired day one, based upon how much Trump hated Comey, right? Which, I mean, Trump hates everybody, so even to use that term is almost ridiculous. But felt Comey was out to get him, even though you could argue that Comey's decision on Hillary Clinton got Trump his first, right? So, but somehow he turned on Comey. So I wasn't surprised in this age of retribution, this age of loyalty tests, this age of the most important factor in anyone's public sector career is their fealty to Donald Trump, that she would get fired. I mean, I kind of read part of her warning to other DOJ members' letter that this is what tyranny and autocracy looks like. And yeah, she's dead on. I don't know, in white guy world, I guess I'm just not surprised, right? This is what is going on throughout, in essence, the American government and the bureaucracy, right? I mean, there's no people of color around anymore, right? So this is all just white people going after white people now. Sure. And Comey's daughter is not on the right side of Donald Trump. So Pam Bondi is going to do whatever Donald Trump wants her to do. Yeah. So when the chirping goes out that Pam Bondi's on thin ice with MAGA and that she might get fired, I'm like, I don't get it. Pam Bondi is doing exactly what Donald Trump wants her to do, which is to suppress the Epstein file. Yep. Therefore, I would think she has the safest seat in the government right now. She's doing exactly what Donald Trump wants her to do. So I don't understand this narrative that Pam Bondi's on thin ice. And I'm not surprised at all that Comey's daughter got fired.
Right. Pam Bondi is FOT and FOE. Friend of Trump, friend of Epstein. There are pictures that I've just recently seen, new to me, of her carousing with the boys back in the day. So, Donald Trump is very intimately familiar with Ms. Bondi, right? Her brother, they were trying to get him to run the DC bar, right?
Yeah.
So they could start to disbar people, right? Yeah. They got the tentacles all over the place, right? Trying to reach into the levers of control and power. So, they're intimately aware of Pam Bondi and familiar with her, and she's loyal. She wants to, pledge allegiance at the altar. And so she's going to do whatever. Now, here's the problem. Like I said yesterday, you can't make up what's in those files, right? She can't go back and get witness testimony, like fabricate witness testimony, fabricate FBI agent reports, right? I mean, it's too much. Think about how long we've been talking about this guy. Then think about how long they've been investigating him. We're talking about 10, 15 years worth of, investigative material that she would have to go back and redo. Who's going to be able to do that? Right? Like, I mean, even with AI, it would take you probably 3 years. Right? And they've got no way. There's no way out, bro. He's boxed in every which way he turns. I just heard audio today of a young lady who came forward to the New York Times long before all this nonsense started, talking about the scumbag that Donald Trump was. And Jeffrey Epstein had groomed her. And she had a run-in with Donald Trump one night where she had jogged to Epstein's office. She was there for some other dude. Epstein came in the room as Donald Trump is ogling her, and she's telling this story, and you just get freaked out by it. It's only audio, and I couldn't make out the podcast, but I can send you the clip. But, she was totally weirded out by it and talked about how grossed out she was by Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump went into another room. Now, mind you, this is 9 p.m. at night on a weeknight, she said. Donald Trump went into another room to be serviced. And she said Ivana Trump used to drive her and Ghislaine around when schools were letting out so Ghislaine could recruit and would run up to uniformed schoolgirls and get their phone numbers. I mean, the young lady said she was so weirded out. I think it was Maria Hoffman. I saw it early this morning, but it was just so, it was stomach churning. It made you want to puke. And Ivana knew what was going on.
So are these stories making it back through broader media? Like, where'd you catch it? Is this a TikTok thing, or are these?
No, this was Midas Touch.
Oh, okay. So they got their hands on it. Oh, okay. So it's getting extremely broad distribution. Oh, I'm glad they got their hands on it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that off the top. Like, there's no way to fabricate the file at this point, or manipulate the file. It's too baked, right? The cake has been baked. It's just a suppression right now. It's black or white. Either it's out or it's not out. Right. I mean, maybe they're going to try to find a lane where it's a heavily redacted in between just to get something out there. I can't see how the QAnon crazies would be happy with that, because that would be deep state. As soon as they see that first, redacted line or name that's crossed out.
Right.
That's deep state.
Yep.
Okay, so this train's rolling along on its own tracks as a massive distraction, and it's chipping away at the image of Donald Trump as strongman, leader, in any way legitimate to that cadre of folks that voted him in and believe he's legitimate.
Right.
But on the separate track, guys like Emil Bove are getting, appointed to key judgeships, even though he just committed perjury probably within like 48 hours. And he's a Jan 6 denier. So,
he was Donald Trump's criminal attorney. How are they going to put him on an appeals court?
Yes, so the court system's corroded. Pam Bondi has destroyed the rule of law in America. Like Bill Barr was bad. Pam Bondi has destroyed the rule of law. We have no due process. It's all a favoritism game. I mean, pardons are pay for pardons. Like we're a corrupt state, and that's Pam Bondi at the head of it. But she's working to the standard that Donald Trump has set. So I feel like in his mind, she's doing a great job. So yes, there's the Epstein stuff. I just hope it just keeps kicking up so much dirt that it clouds the focus of more and more of the MAGAites.
Yeah.
And maybe, but it's not stopping the politicians from doing the worst of the worst. I mean, NPR and PBS got defunded today, and this email Bob guy got like approved today, despite the Democratic walkout, because that's all the Dems can do now. They can't win any votes.
Right. And did you see who wrote his recommendation letter? Alan Dershowitz.
Oh my God.
Same guy calling for Ghislaine Maxwell's appeal, right? Trump's criminal attorney, right? Beauvais represented Trump on the 34 guilty fraud convictions. And now these guys are this guy's in a key position to hand down another ruling in Trump's favor. You see how it all comes together? Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. It's a fucking mess. You know, and these people they're committing crimes in broad daylight.
Broad daylight. Yeah, we're a corrupt state. I mean, America is
a shithole nation. We are a shithole nation.
Okay, I love the video of the gangs in LA standing up to ICE. I watched your Rick Smiley guy giving the warning out to Black America relative to deportations.
Yep.
I mean, there's a bunch of protests going on today. I'll probably live stream it after we do our conversation here, and in DC. Franklin Park. I don't know where Franklin Park is though in DC. How prominent an area it is. Yeah, but one of the marches is in DC. So we'll see what kind of traction and noise that's able to make and what that's able to stir up. Because if you start doing the plus minus game on democracy, you know, kind of lost again today, right? Like more steps in the wrong direction. Where we might just be a democracy in name only, right? We could be just on fumes, right. Where it's already gone, but it just hasn't hit us over the head with a 2x4 yet because we have no idea that we have a chance at fair elections going forward. And now we have a court system that's just degrading in front of our eyes. We thought the courts were holding up, but they're holding up less and less. Because the Supreme Court is given, rulings that are, more and more authoritarian. And
right-leaning, authoritarian-based rulings. I mean, it's sad. And then again, if we really want to point fingers, we can go back and point to the guy who was not up for the job, and that is Merrick Garland. He let us down at every turn. He slow-walked. The special prosecution. I mean, he did nothing. He could have.
The Epstein files sat on his desk for 4 years, right? I mean, these been arranged for the Maxwell trial happened during his tenure, right? Yep. So he's had all this information, and he slow walked Jan 6. So the worst. He did almost as much damage to democracy as anyone we can point to, right? On the left, of the people that didn't have the strength of conviction, but he was never on the left. I mean, he was like a Heritage Fund guy. I don't know why fucking Obama and Biden liked him so much and even wanted to put him up. So once again, they're so wimpy. This is where Obama was not so trying to play middle of the road and not seen as a black president that he wanted Merrick Garland to be on the Supreme Court. That was his guy. That's the best person he couldn't find.
Right.
He could find.
I don't think so.
Now granted, McConnell blocked it, but then so then Biden had to run around and give him a consolation prize. What the fuck was this love for Merrick Garland?
I don't get it. They couldn't have been more wrong about that selection. And then Joe Biden, of course, didn't want to appear, that he was in any way operating against the norms by impeding or, butting into Justice Department business. So he stayed out of everything, kept his hands clean. Well, good. You kept your hands clean. Look what we got now. We got people being, snatched off streets. We got alligator Alcatraz. By the way, Debbie Wasserman Schultz just said today she's never seen grasshoppers and mosquitoes that big. They've got no infrastructure out there. So that thing's going to
Yeah.
cost about $450 million. That's a $500 million going to Ron DeSantis' cronies. His wife's, remember his wife was involved in the whole,
Oh yeah.
nonprofit fraud deal, letting them wash money through her nonprofit. I'm sure she picked up a nice chunk of change for a percentage of every dollar wash. And there was a guy who did an interview on the phone with a local Miami affiliate who said, they were feeding him once a day. He hadn't had a shower in 4 days. He'd been there since Friday, hadn't had a shower. There's no running water.
Yeah, I read like they're trucking in or trucking out the septic.
Yeah.
Like literally in a truck and then dumping it fucking somewhere. I mean, God knows where.
How you gonna dig a sewer system in a swamp?
What neighborhood? What neighborhood?
Can't do it.
What neighborhood do you think it's getting dumped in? You think it's getting dumped? You think
exactly.
it's getting dumped in the Villages or Palm
No, sir.
Palm Beach? You think there's a
Liberty
place in
City,
Palm
baby.
Beach? Yeah.
Liberty
Yeah.
City. All the black and brown areas will see that sewage. And the it is horrid what the living conditions that these people. Now Republicans walked in there, said it smelled absolutely wonderful. This is amazing. This is like a luxurious place to stay. And then the Democrats walked through there and said, what the hell are they talking about? This is disgusting. There's water ankle deep already. Yeah. We haven't even had a good storm yet. That thing ain't going to be there, Brock, when we get, the first, Category 2, Category 3? That shit'll be blown, halfway to Tampa.
Yeah, I mean, the Republicans lied, of course. First of all, they went there when no one was there. Second of all, of course, they lied, right? They had to follow Trump's lead. Like, there's still, as much as we think this Epstein story has chipped away at Trump, and yeah, maybe some talking heads are talking against him. And yeah, Mike Johnson came out and said that the files should be released. So, okay, you think that's a crack in a key partnership of a key sycophant, but okay, he said that, but there's no teeth to it, right?
No.
He's just appeasing, a partial QAnon crazies faction, but like it's just words. Like then he went back to, pushing Project 2025. So like no one's really standing up to Trump on any topics. So to me, it's still just all just kind of word salad floating around. Like I don't see the teeth in any of this yet.
Well, Brock, let's get right back to ICE agents in LA, because that could signify the beginning of a unifying force, right? When the hood comes together, right, it comes together everywhere. Because what people don't really understand about gang culture is that, and I've learned this through watching a lot of these high-profile athletes who are associated with gang culture, and they go to different cities, they have to check in with the gang, with the local affiliate of their particular gang. So what will happen is that in all these different cities, members of these different gang affiliations will say, hey, we're getting together with so-and-so, this is the word from LA. Right? So when ICE shows up in Houston, the word will have been sent to Houston or Dallas or Kansas City or Columbia, South Carolina, that this is how we are supposed to act when we see these ICE agents. And that's going to be a real problem for untrained ICE agents who are signing up to get these bonuses, who thought it was going to be easy work, snatching people off the street who are putting up no resistance.
Yes, that snatching pregnant women with the babies in the arms at the courthouse. Yeah. Or a couple guys sitting out in front of the Home Depot. Yeah. Okay, well, there's going to be some violence then, right? Something's going to happen. It's hot out, right? Dog days of summer, and if this, sort of protection has been called in, which is what you're telling me is Black America making the statement that we're getting out here with Latino America
Yep.
because we're
If that's
listening
what we're
also to
seeing
guys
in
like
LA.
Rick Smiley. If Rick's, because they're thinking, Rick Smiley may be reflecting what they're saying, or they may be reflecting what he's saying. That hey, we're next, so we
Right.
better get out here now. So we're gonna we know how this movie plays out, so we're gonna come out now before they've hired the additional agents and let's nip this in the bud. Then it's going to be really, really interesting. Because the National Guardsmen that left LA, 2,000 of the 4,000 have left, right? Both said, well, number one, it was like fighting boredom. And number two, like they didn't feel like they should be there.
Right.
Which makes me wonder about anyone who's in the National Guard. I guess they like that, once a month where they go out and on a weekend and
The
train.
nice check.
Getting an extra paycheck, as long as we're not at war, right? They got screwed in Iraq when they got called into active duty. But, I mean, to me, it would certainly question anyone who is thinking of signing up for the National Guard. It's going to be like, okay, I'm signing up for the National Guard so I can be on the streets fighting, snatching Latinos and now fighting black gang members? Yeah, I'm not sure that's...
To get the Latino gangs.
Yeah, something I might be signing up for. Latino gangs? MS-13? I'm not sure there are any Latino gangs because I have not seen a Latino gang member get arrested yet.
No, no. But don't be surprised if they should happen to rear their heads when their neighborhood becomes under siege. See, remember when they went downtown and the whole skirmish that led to the National Guard coming in? That was not in a residential setting. That wasn't in a neighborhood. That was in like an industrial area, right? Downtown LA, right? So from what I know of Los Angeles, and correct me if I'm wrong, my knowledge is limited. I've just visited numerous times. But, that's not where you're going to see a lot of gang activity, right? You're going to see gang activity in the residential areas, in the areas that, people have proclaimed as, their territory. But, which to stay out of if you don't happen to be part of that clique. So, I wouldn't be playing with those guys. I would not take it lightly. If you've watched any of these gang documentaries, they do not play. Latin Kings, one of the bigger gangs on the East Coast, from New York City all the way up to New England and throughout New England. And they are deep. They are deep. And so, and there are a lot of gangs around New York City. I used to think it was a West Coast thing. And it's not anymore.
But we haven't had a major incident that I'm aware of in New York City. And there's been a lot of...
them.
Yeah.
Remember, a lot of those folks, have been moved out of town, right? We've been gentrifying these neighborhoods where a lot of people used to go over to Williamsburg, and those areas close in proximity to Manhattan, and try to rent yourself an apartment and see what it goes. You know what those go for. Right? Yeah. Right? You're not just pulling up there with some dope money and getting you a $5,000 a month studio, especially if you got a family to support.
Yeah, we're gonna see. Yeah, we'll see on this. That was an interesting scene. Was that scene in LA from today or from yesterday? Was that within the last 24 hours?
From what I understood, it was in the last 24 hours because people are still reposting it.
Okay, so that's still coming. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, that's really interesting.
That's good news.
That is very good news.
Yep. And so, we're seeing it other Brooklyn. Brooklyn is standing up. Shout out to the BK. I know that ICE does not want to go to the Bronx. Now, we've got a heavy, Latino population in the Bronx. And, you go over there knocking on the wrong doors, you could be in for a struggle. I'm just saying, things pop off in the BX. these are difficult places to be when you're trying to carry out these kinds of illegal activities. And now people know they're illegal.
Yeah, they're coming masked, right? Like, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be, that's a volatile dynamic on the streets. Like I
No
said,
doubt.
we have not seen this really percolate into violence yet,
Right.
and it's surprising it hasn't.
Yeah.
As well armed as America is,
Yep.
and as heated as this has gotten, and as aggrieved, and you know, America and even the majority of America is starting to become about this situation.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just surprised because that it cool quote so far cooler heads have prevailed, but it's a boiling pot, right? It's
Yep.
gonna boil over.
Yep.
So
And,
okay.
and you know, the sad thing is, Brock, there's no one to appeal to for calm, right? There's no, because the people that are supposed to be overseeing our welfare are the people that are projecting this violence on us, right? Who do you run to?
No,
If,
but the police officers, it depends. Like the police officers have been sort of told to, crack down on any illegal abductions, right? So we just haven't seen that yet. I mean, Karen Bass got out there; she's kind of run ICE out of town,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
She changed the dynamic in terms of the police, where they weren't just,
quickly,
weren't helping ICE.
yeah.
In New York, like what's Eric Adams going to do? Like he's been
He's got to help because he's on the hook.
yeah, incredibly quiet on this topic. Haven't heard a
Yeah,
peep out of him.
yeah, he's
Well,
on the hook.
yeah, because he was bought, because he was in
Yeah,
trouble, and Trump bailed him out, and that's where we become a kleptocracy, right?
right.
But that, New York City's basically on its own right now. I mean, Eric Adams is like, he's mayor almost
Persona
in
non
name,
grata.
in name only. He's a lame duck. He's going to try to run, but he's one of four now in that race, and he's a distant third at best
Right.
in
And
any
did you
poll.
hear Trump's comment with the Prime Minister of Bahrain when he said that we had a communist running who might get elected and was going to ruin the city?
I didn't
I
hear the
mean,
quote. I'd heard him say it before, but Mondani's already come back. Like,
right.
communist, socialist, Marxist, like pulling out any word under the sun. Like, these words don't even resonate
No.
with, especially with young people. No one even knows
No.
what you mean when you say a fucking communist. What are you
Right.
talking about?
Right. That's 70s talk.
Yeah, like
He's
what?
parroting his father from the 70s.
A communist.
Yeah. He's literally parroting his dad.
It's not the Cold War. So like,
Right.
yeah, it doesn't resonate with anyone. That's why they're losing the younger vote, because that doesn't work. Finally, it worked for 40 fucking years,
Right.
and it still seems to work with like Cuban voters in Florida, right? They're still
Right.
falling for that shit. They're still voting for Trump,
Well, they,
as
they came from a communist country that's so
anti-Castro, yeah.
communist.
Exactly, an anti-Castro vote somehow.
Right.
Now they're getting carted away, but
Right. So
yeah.
yeah, man, it's ugly out here. But hey, here in Atlanta, just good news to report. Dozens and dozens of Good Trouble protests. Happy Good Trouble Day to you, my friend. And we've got a block party that kicks off at 6 p.m. tonight. They had activities earlier today. I saw a 96-year-old white woman who had hosted. Oh, why is his name escaping me right now? I just had a brain fart.
Who?
Um,
Ossoff,
Congressman Lewis has hosted in her backyard his very first fundraiser for his very first campaign. White woman, 97 years old. She was out protesting this morning, sitting on a chair out by the Veterans Administration with nothing but white Americans waving signs.
What's the theme? What's the theme of the protest? Like, what is it most? Is it ICE? Is it voting rights? Is it democracy? Is it
It's
like
all of it here in Atlanta.
Okay.
You're seeing a mix, and you're seeing some black and white protesters out there together. So yeah, I'm going to continue to check it out through the
Yeah,
dinner
50.
hour.
I think it was the 50-51. I'm gonna go on their Blue Sky. They had something in their feed of a live stream that I think 5:30 Eastern time, 5:30 to 8. They're going to have some live streaming of what's going on in D.C. So I plan to check. Yeah, I was going to check in on that because I am curious on the themes, and of course I'm curious on the mix of the crowd. Because as we've been searching for since the first podcast we did in late January or something, we're looking for the unifying message and the unifying messenger. So if blacks are getting out there with Latinos because of ICE, that's great. Still trying to figure out when white and black people are going to get out there together. Yeah. Maybe John Lewis is a first catalyst on that front. Because we got to build to bigger and bigger protests.
Yeah, absolutely. And we got to get that multi-ethnic, multicultural coalition together. That's the only way we win. And strangely enough, Brock, let's keep an eye on this ICE deal in LA because, these gang leaders may be the ones that begin to unify America and create solidarity against the Mad King.
White supremacy, right? Fighting white supremacy. Wouldn't that be incredible that that's where the voice is going to come from of unity? I mean, these are crazy times, so nothing is off the table.
Off the board. Yeah. Everything's on the board, babe.
Why the fuck not? They say that message maybe has to come from the streets. Well, okay, that's the streets, right?
The streets is talking right now. So, it's I saw a video, and I don't know how credible it was, but I mean there was a video about the sons of the Confederacy, trying to invade Atlanta over a several-day period, and they got the hell beat out of them. But I don't know, I never read it in the newspaper, and I couldn't find it, online. So it may have just been, something theatrical that somebody put together. But that is the sentiment that you're starting to hear is that, you better start fighting back because we may not get a chance to. Once you're in ICE custody, you're out of here. Your chance to fight back is over. So, we need to tamp down all this snatching people stuff. Just make them too afraid to come into our neighborhoods. Because once they start coming in here with, military equipment, that's when the world will stand up and take notice. That's when we can talk about the human rights violations that are actually happening.
Yeah, well, then then we're really at martial law, which I want us to get to. But yeah, if we fight back ahead of it, like a fight, right? Better to throw the first punch than the second one.
And take one, exactly.
Yeah, these are crazy times, man, that you just laid out. If this is going to come from the streets and the gangs, the voice of the people is going to come from gang leadership, that would be incredible. Because I say this, white people are blindsided by the Epstein story.
Oh yeah.
And white people would be blindsided by the fact that the fucking gang leaders become the voice of the fucking revolution, so to speak.
Some of these people are very charismatic and very dynamic leaders.
They're leaders. Hey, leadership's leadership, right?
No matter where it is.
Yeah,
whether it's in the streets or in the C-suite.
Yeah.
Same thing, same concept. All right, my friend, let's wrap it up there. And let's get back here, do it again tomorrow, see how the weekend's up. Keep an eye on these Good Trouble protests this evening.
Okay, right? We'll talk on it tomorrow. All right, Mark, always a pleasure. Talk to you tomorrow.
Here. Peace.
All right, bye.